Everybody, this is another tutorial from Figma. Today what we are going to cover is two different effects that can be quite useful in Figma. There is the overlay and the smart animate. So the overlay is normally used when you want to add a pop-up window, like a pop-up menu, and is commonly used for mobile menus, tooltips. So any single layer that is going to kind of pop up on the page. The limitations of overlays is like if the content is larger than the viewport or like the viewport, then this may not be the best effect for you, because if the content exceeds the height of the page, that may not be the best way. It could be there may be another effect that work better for you. This is not for complex animation. This is a basically lay it and layout, and one overlay per action. So that means that you open one overlay per button, sort of big. So let's get through it. And before starting, I prepare one that is called finished. I will share the link to this file with you. So I just wanted to show what we were going to do, okay? The sort of effects that we want to achieve. So I'm going to click preview. So at first stage, I'm going to use the one element that I most commonly use this for is, for example, the mobile menu like this. So you can click in, it just slides in, and then you click and it slides out. But also you have the ability to create this sort of effect that it kind of shadows everything away. So in darkness, you can add transparency in a way that you can focus better on the content. And also you can also add the click out. So in click out, it just closes automatically. So that's what you can do. The other in another instance that this may be useful, if I click title, for example, here. So this is a sort of modal pop-up windows that you can also do with this sort of effect. So it's quite easy to do. So now I'm going to come back to the start one. The start page doesn't have any interaction at all. So this is where I'm going to build this with you. So as you can see, right, you have the page with your prototype, with your layout of your page. Then you have another frame with the pop-up window. Okay, so in this case, I have another frame, another artboard just for the menu, and another artboard for the tooltip. So what Figma does is to kind of place this element on top of the layout. So let's do it. So for the first, what I do is to select the element that is going to trigger the animation. In this case is the menu button right here. And of course, everything that is related to interactions is under the prototype tab. So let me delete this one. So in this one, for example, if I want to add an interaction, I can either drag here, or I can just tick plus here. And then, of course, when do we have what is the trigger? So it's going to be on click. Then the action is going to be, instead of navigate to, that's the one that we use to just link from one page to another. What we are going to indicate, or we are going to tell them, is that open overlay, which is exactly what we're doing now. And then we have to tell, okay, where is that element that you want to overlay? So you have the menu items and the tooltip. And that's why it's important to name the pages or the artboards in a way that it makes sense to you, that you can easily recognize it. Otherwise, it can be a little bit confusing. So I go menu items. And here you just say, okay, it's going to pop over this page. Okay, how do you want this to slide in which top left, top center, center, top right? So in this case, we want top right from whoop. Then we can actually close when clicking outside. This is the one that you say, okay, if I click outside the menu, it's going to close automatically. And this is when you add that a little bit darker background if you want, and it's optional. And okay, how do you want the animation to play? So this is when you select that is kind of moving, sliding. And then you can change directions, a little bit of the effect, is out or is in, and the duration of this animation. And okay, so let's try that. Like that, yeah, it's all working. So I'm going to do preview to just see if that worked or not. And then I click here and then, yep, okay. But now I want this to close the layout menu as well, which is not happening because I haven't actually activated. So in the similar way, I do the same thing, but the other way around, which is basically selecting this button, add the interaction on tab. And instead of open overlay, I say close overlay. And close overlay, that's the action. And let's see if that worked. Let's do preview and see if it worked. See. Yep, that's it. That's what I wanted, easy. In the same way, I will select this button to open this tooltip here. It's a little bit of a long tooltip, but so I select the trigger, the button, and then I go to prototype and do the same way, but maybe I guess like this, on tab, instead of navigate, open overlay. And this is where you can actually tell it the position of the tooltip. So because for the previous one, we select top right, but you can also say manual, which means I'm going to decide where it's going to pop over. So I just want to manually be able to organize where it's going to show up. And maybe I want to dissolve on instant. It's up to you. And then, yep, close when clicking outside. So let's see if that one worked. So let's do preview. Yep. Again, you can change the direction. Like moving, but maybe it can be the another direction or from top to bottom, etc. So yep, that's pretty much about that. That's very easy. Again, if you want a more complex animation, this is probably not the tool for you. So now we're going with Smart Animate. Okay, so the Smart Animate is a very basic animation feature in Figma. It's very basic, but it allows you to create like transitions between two frames, and Figma can calculate or can work out how the frames are going to be animated, and she does it automatically. So what you can animate, and this is one of the limitations of Smart Animate, you can animate changes to properties like position, scale, color, and opacity. Okay, so normally you will see that in buttons animation when you click and it changes in image carousel, progress bars, drop down menu when you want to kind of a smooth transition. So the limitations is for example, Figma is not an animation program. Like if you want more complex a shape, morphing into a circle, that's probably Figma is not the best. There may be better programs for that. So this is more complex animations. Figma is probably not the best option. It doesn't also work with gradients. There is no a timeline, which means that it's very limited what you control the timing when. And this is a very important one. Okay, if it doesn't work, this may be the cause. Layer mismatch, which means that if it relies on matching the layers name, so basically if they are named, they have to be named exactly the same thing to work, to be able to make it work. Okay, so let's go through it because that will make more sense when I demonstrate it. So, next. So this is kind of the first effect that I was going to see, like a button, like you click and the book, and it does something like that. So this is kind of what we want to achieve. So I created one with no animation at all, with no effect, just to be able to create it from scratch. Okay, so the best way to do the smart animate could be by duplicating. I mean, you work out the design of the button and then you just duplicate it. That way you kind of already have the same layers structure. Okay. So, and also the position is exactly the same. So it makes it a little bit easier. So, okay, so I want to create that effect and I am going to select the line 1 and line 2. And what I want is to kind of rotate, to transform into an X, very simple. So I'm going to say 45%, 45. Oh, I'm animating the wrong one. I was thinking, what am I doing? Okay, so another thing that I wanted to do, I wanted to change the name of the frame. So in a way that I know this one, it will be for closing with the shape of an X. So now I'm going to select, this one. And then I'm going to say 45. And then negative 45. So I don't have to do much math. And okay, well, I'm going to start with that to see. As you can see, the layer structure has to be exactly with the same names and the same hierarchy for it to be able to work. So now what I want to do is to create the animation just to see if this one worked. And I'm going to just click like that, on click, and navigate to destination, and in this case is smart animate. And the duration, etc. And let's see. Okay, then I'm going to do, well, I can do a quick preview here. So okay, then you can also get a little bit of effects in here, like for example the bouncy. Let's see what it looks like, the bouncy one. So it's yeah, you can play and you will get used to how the sort of effects that you want to. But also you can also modify other elements, like for example I want this circle to be a little bit larger. I also want the background to be maybe white, and therefore I want the lines to be black, and maybe I also want this to be a little bit, yeah, let's see. So then I play. So yeah, it's bouncing. It may not be the quite effect that you want. So let's, instead of bouncy, I'm going to select is out. I don't know. Let's see how it looks. Preview. Yeah, much better, much what I want. And obviously you, if it will work the same way. So you just click, on click, navigate to Smart Animate is out. Okay. So now it should work for both sides. But it is important that these layers are named exactly the same, because that's how Figma works out, I mean, identify the elements, okay? If this one was, for example, let's change the name. Yeah, it stops working, because that's how Figma kind of identifies and connects the elements by name and by structure. So that's one of the ways. Another example that we can do is to the loading bar, and one of the reasons why I bring this over is because this one is when you the sort of an effect that you add when loading the page, and you have the typical loading. So let's see, loading bar, animate. Okay, so this is the starting one, so the one that has that has no interaction. So again, it's easier to just duplicate it and kind of, okay, this is the ending part, is it? Yeah, it is. So make sure that because I want to change the shape, I have to remember to go into the design bit, because I cannot modify the elements. This is in the design bit, so I'm going to basically drag it until the end. See, yeah, okay, all right. So now what I wanted to do is I want this animation to happen as when the page loads. So I'm going to the prototype, interaction. Instead of on click, you indicate after the late, and after the late, you can say, okay, after, yeah, so this after this is to say, okay, when the user loads in the page, how long after he loads the page I want the animation to start, and that's the number that I'm going to assign here. And then in the action, navigate to, and then destination loading to, and the animation is Smart Animate. This is a little bit more time just to see the effect, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to do preview. So yeah, that's a little bit what it does. You can actually, if that sort of effect is not the one that you want to achieve, then you can change it, like gentle listening and back, or yeah, you can play with effects in a way. The last one that I wanted to check, it was the like accordion effect. That's commonly known as an accordion effect, which is something like this. I'm going to close this. Okay, if I click here, then it opens, and then so you see how it just expands, and then if I click back, the arrow actually collapses and expands. So that's what we want to do. So okay, so again, I can duplicate this one, for example, duplicate, and this bit is important because you know how we get in auto layout in another tutorial, you know how the height is hooked, and that's important in this case, because that way the height of this element is going to adjust to the content. So I am going to add some text. in the accordion item, I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to select Lorem Ipsum, just normal Lorem Ipsum, just so I don't have to type anything. Just yeah, no, it's not Lorem Ipsum, but that's this will work. So if I paste the text, then I can select medium. Maybe I can put a little bit more text just to demonstrate how it will go. Okay, that's what I want to happen at the end of the animation. Oh, I don't want this element here, but I do want this element to rotate. Like I want this to be 0. Yep. So that way, this is the initial state, this is the open state. Let's make sure that the elements are the same. Okay, so let's see if this works. So I'm going to prototype, I'm going to click here, and then on click, navigate, smart animate, back, and so I'm going to put, yeah, maybe 300 will be enough, and let's see how we go. So I'm going to do preview. Oh, maybe just click in here and see what happens. Yep, that's it. And obviously I just want to do the other way around, which is this. Click, smart animate. Yeah. It would be better if I can name the pages in a way that is a little bit easier. So let's see what happens. So yep, so that's pretty much it, the basic of Smart Animate. In the next tutorial, we are going to look into components, which is a very crucial one. But anyway, I hope that clarified a little bit how to do very basic and most commonly used effects. And well, thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.